Guys, it's Lost in Plot, and today we're reviewing Arkane Studios' Deathloop.
That's right. Deathloop is a first-person shooter from Arkane, which is a brilliant studio that is responsible for Dishonored, Dishonored 2, and Prey. I'm a huge fan of their games.
I played Prey, I played Dishonored 2, I played the first Dishonored as well. I'm big fans, but I haven't played Deathloop, so you're going to tell me what I can expect from this game.
Well, the premise is you are stuck in a time loop. You are reliving the same day over and over and over again. Now, in order to break this time loop, you've got to kill 7 people. You're on this isolated island which is full of these scientists and geniuses called visionaries.
All right.
Okay, these are like the innovators, the Elon Musks of this deranged world. And the only way to break this loop that you're in is to kill all 7 of them in one day.
So you're on an island, and you have 7 Elon Musks to kill, and you have 1 day to do it.
Correct, except they're all decadent pricks, which I wouldn't classify Elon Musk as that, but I don't know him too well. But these are. They're all just over-the-top characters, very profane and vulgar, and that's kind of make up for the fact that the narrative for this is just razor thin, and there's not very much character development.
Well, how much can they give you? You literally have
a story to do.
You've got 1 day that you're just reliving over and over and over. So it sounds like it's trial and error. Like, you've got to kill these 7 visionaries, and you've only got 1 day to do it. Obviously, you're going to have to fail a whole bunch.
Correct.
And then figure out how to make it work.
And that's kind of the point. Every time you die, you loop back to the beginning of the day. So you've got 7 visionaries, and you've got 4 different locations on this island, and you've got 4 different times of day. You've got morning, you've got noon, you've got afternoon, and night. So in all these 4 locations, at all these 4 different times of the day, you go to these places and you're going to find clues that are going to give you the routines of these 7 visionaries that you have to kill.
Oh boy. And so if it's Arkane Studios and we're used to the Dishonored series, I'm expecting first-person shooter also with a mix of some special abilities that you can take advantage of to stealth around or take on enemies head on.
Yeah, and that's probably the first critique, is the special abilities are kind of recycled from Dishonored 2. You get Blink and a few of the other similar things that you might expect. They're not giving you anything too new here. Now, I love the mechanics of the Dishonored games, so that's not a hugely bad thing. But those things are there. They're not necessarily all brand new. Now, I will say that if you got this game at launch, you'd probably realize after a while, after playing stealth and realizing it was boring as mud, and just saying, I'm going to put a shotgun in that guy's face, and I'm going to let the town know that I'm here, and we'll see what those assholes can do to me. Then you find out that, oh my god, this game is easy. It's easy. I can kill everyone in the entire level and not break a sweat. They realized that, and that's where we got our first patch that came out, I think, later towards the end of September and October. So they did a patch to improve the pathfinding and the difficulty of all the AI enemies. So now they're much better at finding you and killing you, I'm happy to say. So I was cruising through it at that point. As soon as they put this patch in, I was dying all over the place and I was looping because of it. So that's one thing, a positive reaction and a note there. Where this really struggles for me is the all-important first level, where they explain the mechanics to you and they get you set up to play the game, right?
Kind of like a tutorial.
So confusing and so time-consuming to kind of figure things out, because you don't know what you're doing. You can't kill them all just going through the day as soon as you start it up. No, you have to slowly go through all these different locations, picking up clues, putting things in place in order to kind of make sure those visionaries are now in specific locations that you know about. And the catch-all is this party at the end of the day. If you do all these different things, you can make the visionaries show up at this party so they're all grouped together and you can kill them all in one strike.
This sounds like a game that is really demanding of your time, your attention, and your skills. You really seem to like you need to bring a whole lot to this game. This isn't one of those things where you just mindlessly will romp through the levels and do whatever the hell you want. You have to really focus.
Initially. Once you figure out the mechanics, once you figure out, okay, I'm going to loop, but there are all these, you can pick up these different things, you can infuse them, so like when you die, you don't lose your guns or your powers, you just loop into the next day and you have everything that you earned the prior day, which is kind of a cheat. But you can do that. And then once you figure that out and figure out all the mechanics, then it becomes second nature, and it's easy, and all you've got to do is go through and wipe out all of the enemies, try and kill the visionaries, and put all the puzzle pieces in place so that you can get through the day killing all 7 of them. And when you do that, it is very satisfying, and by the time you can get around to finally lining them up in the way that you're going to need to beat this game, it takes about 24 hours.
This seems like it's the same meal that they've been serving in the Dishonored series, but it's in a different package with maybe not as good of a story. Is that a fair assessment?
It's fair, and I was expecting it to be better. I was expecting it to be a bit more, but it still has all the things that made those prior games so great. You're just looking for, well, what's the next step? And it doesn't really give you the next step outside of just this cool gimmick of looping back to the start of the day. And I mean, the music's cool, the voice acting is good, but I mean, the characters are over the top and annoying. But the gameplay is still top-notch here.
All right. Final score?
So final score for Deathloop. I did enjoy my time. I played all the way through. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 and keep it alive, with the caveat that you kind of expect more from this studio because they have kind of upped the bar with all of their games as they go forward. And this one kind of is content to keep a lot of those mechanics in place. And just what's new is this kind of cool premise where you die, you loop back to the beginning of the day. So if you get to that party at the end and you've got all your visionaries and you're setting up to kill them, if they kill you, you go back to the very start of the day. You got to play through the morning, the afternoon, and all.
Is this a game you can get hooked on? Is the replayability, is that a major thing? Can you see yourself coming back to Deathloop?
If you like the mechanics, you can get hooked on and you can play this over and over again because you can use the different abilities. There's about 4 or 5 abilities, and they only let you carry 2 of them at a time. So you can go through a level and say, well, I'm going to choose those 2 abilities this time, or I'm going to do it differently. The other thing that they do is they have this character called Juliana, who suddenly pops up at any random time at any random level, specifically to hunt you. So you'll get this alert that Juliana is on the hunt, and she's going to come and find you, and she's going to be very difficult because she knows what you're doing, and while all the other characters don't remember what's happened in prior loops, she retains all the information, so she hunts you specifically. And if she gets you, then you're looping back to the start of the day again. It's very frustrating.
Oh, Juliana.
So they do have a mode where people can go online and actually infiltrate your game. So some asshole can say, I'm going to play Juliana. I'm going to come in. And it happened to me once. I was on a level and like a coward, they snuck up behind me and just snapped my neck. They wouldn't even engage me in a duel.
Nope, no fair fight.
They just snuck up behind me with stealth, broke my neck, and all the progress that I had going for that day, lost, and I had to reloop. And after that, I turned off the online play infiltrate, and I just let the computer do it because fuck that.
No more assholes breaking my game.
I'm not wasting my time.
There it is. If you were the person who ruined Jake's game by snapping his neck, please leave your comments in the section down below. Like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter, and guys, we will see you all on the next one.